Hello there, and welcome to Geek Speak. My name is Nath, and you've caught me watching the Sonic the Hedgehog 3 trailer for the 247th time, as I literally cannot wait to see it on the big screen this December. There was a time where video game tie-in movies were a bad joke uttered behind closed, locked, and fully barricaded doors, as honestly, they were mostly rubbish. Here's looking at you, original Mario Bros movie. This has changed in the last few years, with box office hits such as the Sonic movies, Super Mario Bros, not to mention the Last of Us and Fallout series. Video game adaptations have turned a corner, and I am hungry for more. So, with that in mind, here are 7 video games that in my opinion deserve a Hollywood adaptation. Now, I will be the first to admit that I am no history buff. I couldn't tell you half of the things that I supposedly learnt in school about Henry VIII, the Industrial Revolution, or which house was which in the War of the Roses. This, however, changed when I played the utterly brilliant Assassin's Creed Ezio trilogy. This highly stylised romp through 15th century Renaissance Italy had me absolutely glued to my gaming chair as its epic sci-fi story unfolded right in front of me. There was scandal and betrayal, heartbreak and triumph as Ezio and company fight against the evil Templars in the form of the notorious Borgia nobles in an attempt to liberate Italy from their machinations. The plot of the game had done something that captured my imagination by adapting real-world figures, locations and historical events to tell an epic story that spanned centuries right up to the present day. Sure, there are plenty of existing series that explore the Borgias and the Medici, but do any of them involve a modern-day League of Assassins using a full-dive technology to relive the memories of their long-deceased ancestors in order to prevent a global catastrophe? The decade-spanning story of Ezio would absolutely lend itself brilliantly to at least a few seasons. So, HBO, I hope you're watching. Westerns are something that I grew up with, as my dad always had a book or a movie on the go. Tales of daring do and gunslinging, of desperados and gold, heroes and villains. It is little wonder then that when Rockstar's Red Dead Redemption games came out, they absolutely captivated me with their lush vistas, dodgy saloons, and ill-gotten gains to gain. The massive free-roaming landscape really captures the solitude and danger of the West, while also boasting some of the most exciting towns that I've ever visited in a video game. Red Dead 1 and 2 are very much designed to let you live out life as a cowboy, complete with campfires, train heists, and an inbuilt morality system that lets you decide whether the protagonists John Marston and Arthur Morgan can achieve their redemption. At its centre, these games are stories about people. Messy, murky, and sometimes mad as a box of frogs, people. Without getting too far into spoiler territory, these games tell a story that will make you feel something, and that is why I would love to see a set of movies based off of these characters in this version of the Wild West. From the Wild West now to the North Midwest of America. Life is Strange follows Max Caulfield, a budding senior in high school with a passion for photography. Oh, yeah, and she can rewind time? That small snippet of information was enough already for me to click the buy and download on this indie title without a second thought. And wow, what a game! It is a game where every interaction and choice really matters as you raced against time to save your friend Chloe from an untimely demise. A game where the wrong choice could have dramatic and far-reaching consequences to all who live in the beautifully realised fictional town of Arcadia Bay. It is a game that doesn't shy away from complicated topics either, as it explores issues of morality, death, choice, and prejudice in a coming-of-age tale that truthfully had a real emotional impact on me. I'm almost hesitant to see what a film or a series might look like, as this game, in my opinion, is almost perfect. As I'm writing the script, I'm part of the way through the sequel Life is Strange Double Exposure, And again, it is an absolutely incredible, beautiful, artistic expression of one of the best stories I've ever experienced in games. I highly recommend this one, you won't regret choosing it.
As anyone with a Disney Plus subscription can tell you, there is absolutely no shortage in the House of Mouse of good cartoon content. So what would make an adaptation of Kingdom Hearts stand out from the rest? It could be the epic good versus evil tale that spans across the Disney multiverse. It might be the excellent action JRPG style gameplay featuring magic from the Final Fantasy series. Maybe it's the fact that everybody talks like they are from an anime series, or the complex interweaving narrative that feels like it's been lifted from a Hideo Kojima game. Whatever the magic formula may be, I would absolutely love to see this series adapted for a television series or indeed a movie. The games themselves are wholesome, unpredictable, and honestly they did the whole multiverse thing way before Marvel made it cool, and did it remarkably well. As main character Sora, you embark on a quest with Donald and Goofy that will take you from Alice's Wonderland to the streets of Agrabah, from the Pride Lands to Under the Sea. Whether you are swinging your Keyblade at Pirates of the Caribbean, or being a toy in Andy's room, or letting it all go with Elsa and Anna, there isn't a single moment you will have in these games that won't fill your nostalgia glands up to the brim. We are visiting Skyrim next in our tour of games that deserve a blockbuster. I am a huge fan of anything high fantasy, specifically stuff in the vein of Tolkien. I thoroughly enjoyed the movies and the Rings of Power television series too, and so this is a genre that I always want to come back to. Television hasn't always been kind to the high fantasy genre, as the much maligned Game of Thrones television series ended with a fizzle rather than a bang. Well, thankfully Bethesda, the developers of the Elder Scrolls games, have put so much time and effort into creating a deeply crafted world of lore. I have high hopes that an adaptation of the Tale of the Dragonborn would meet a much kinder fate than that of the Lannisters. Skyrim is a world that sits in shades of grey, as the two warring factions of the Imperials and the Stormcloaks are both problematic in their own way. A TV series could explore these themes of political turmoil and ethical discomfort, while also revelling in a world full of elves, dwarves, dragons, and other mythical beings. The world is already fully built in the games, which could release a writer to jump into this sandbox and stretch their creative muscles by telling a totally new story that differs from that in the games. Just all I ask is that they include a line about being an adventurer once before being shot in the knee by an arrow. Our penultimate entry this week is one that stems from my love of the Matrix films and my not-so-secret man-crush on Keanu. Cyberpunk 2077 does exactly what it says on the tin. It's a futuristic fantasy set in the year 2077 that asks the question, has man merged with technology at the cost of its humanity? The neon-covered Night City is a fascinating location to explore as you assume the role of V, an up-and-coming edge runner, which loosely translates to somebody who lives on the edge of the law as a mercenary for hire, a smuggler, a fixer, or all of the above. Yes, this is another epic tale that explores the murky grey waters of morality in a gritty, brutal, and sometimes beautiful tale of loss, liberation, and living loud or dying proud. It explores themes of science, ethics, race, futurism, and while often raw and jarring in its delivery, it is a story that in a postmodern society asks just the right questions to make you, the player, really question where you stand on these complex and deep issues. What really ups the ante here is that relatively early on in the game, V has a microchip trapped in their head containing the digital soul of Keanu Reeves' deceased rock star, Johnny Silverhand. V is now quite literally a ticking time bomb and must find a way to remove Johnny before the microchip kills them both. It's a white-knuckle thrill ride that will keep you guessing right up until the very end. Move aside Black Mirror, there is a new kid on the block, and it is a cyberpunk. And finally, is what in my opinion is the greatest sci-fi epic ever told, Mass Effect. Set in the year 2183, the human race has taken its first steps to integrate itself with the wider galactic community. It is a time of peace and exploration, and then enters you, the player, slipping into the armour of Commander Insert Forename Shepard, a fully customisable soldier for the Earth Alliance with a backstory of your choosing. In the opening mission of the game, Shepard discovers a data beacon from the Protheans, the last great galactic civilization, and is shown a vision of the extinction of said great former civilization by the sentient machine race known as the Reapers. What follows is a trilogy of games where Shepard must try to prevent the return of the Reapers and break the cycle of galactic extinction. To do this, Shepard must assemble a diverse crew made up various different species and cultures in an effort to unite a fractured galaxy to defeat seemingly insurmountable odds. What puts this space opera at the very top of my wish list for a Hollywood adaptation is the sheer quality and depth of the storytelling. The setting is as impressive as Star Wars, the characters are as lovingly created as those you would find in Joss Whedon's Firefly, the space battles trump anything I've ever seen in Star Trek, and the world building even gives The Expanse a run for its money. It is my favourite video game trilogy of all time, and I would absolutely love to see this one on the silver screen. And there we go guys, those were my picks for 7 video games that deserve a Hollywood adaptation. What games would you like to see on the big screen? Please feel free to comment yours below. If you enjoy these list features, please do drop me a like, a share or a subscribe and hit that notification bell to be alerted for whenever another video drops. But until next time, thank you so much for watching, stay safe, see you bye.